Hi guys, good morning. Hold on. Let's try that again. Hi guys, good morning. Today is Saturday. First thing, well, I say first thing, it's just after 9 o'clock in the morning. And this week, we're going to be filming, This week, I am going to be doing my second week of reading the books that I received, that I didn't receive them, but I collected them from Little Free Libraries. And so this morning, because all of the books that I've been finishing from this, I've been like setting aside, but I have some more books coming in this week. I've got 3 coming in today, supposed to have 3 coming in today, and then I've got 1 coming in on Wednesday. But this morning I figured I would take the opportunity to clear out the books that I'm going to be putting back in the little library, as well as an addition, so that way I've got room for the new books, and that they're just not, I don't have this overwhelming stack of books that I'm giving back, you know? That's why it's like the idea of having like a large stack. That's why it's like when I do book hauls with you guys, it's very, very small, because the idea of having just packages of books lying around, I don't have room for that. So they're like every mini book haul anytime I get a book in. So we are going to be dropping off The Crooked Branch, which I read in episode number 1. We are going to be dropping off Killer Smile, which I read in episode 1. Because I decided, as of right now, there hasn't been any that it's like I'm going to keep, you know. As of right now, I plan on returning all of the books that I get back. And then one book that I did get from a free little library that I decided I am not going to read. Like, I was thinking about it, in all honesty, I don't want to read it. It sounded interesting when I picked it up, but in all honesty, I don't really want to read it. I have other books that I would rather prioritize, especially for this series, and so we are going to be, I don't have it, this one didn't come with its cover, but we've got Mrs. Fletcher by Tom Perrotta, and so I will be putting this back in a free little library unread by me, but that's okay. I'm not really concerned about it. And then the addition that I'm going to add to the library is my book of the month copy of Butcher and Blackbird. I read the book. I absolutely loved it. It's one of my favorite books for so far in 2024 that I've read. But now, if you watched a little while ago, I had a short. I unboxed the Butcher and Blackbird and Leather and Lark as paperbacks. So I do still have Butcher and Blackbird. I just now have it in paperback copy along with Leather and Lark. So this is the first time that I've ever accumulated 2 copies of the same book, because in all honesty, I did not want the hardcover book of the month copies of these books. I would rather have them in the paper copy set, and because of the fact that I know that I can get them all like in their set, because they've also got pre-orders for the third book is already on pre-order. And so rather than going through the effort to try to get Leather and Lark from book of the month, I'm just going to stick with the paperback that I got from Amazon and donate my book of the month copy. So we are going to go drop these 4 books off at a free little library and take a peek while we're there, because why not? So let's go do that. Alrighty guys, I am home. I did the drop off. There was nothing really interesting to take out. It was pretty lackluster, but I dropped them off. So there are now 4 books for whoever decides to come next to look. And so we're going to get started on this week. So we're going to start with editing. Of course, we got to edit last week's stuff. And then my first book for this week that we are going to be starting is The Many Daughters of Afong by Jamie Ford. And my version is the book of the month version. It was released back in 2022. It was either April or August. I don't remember off the top of my head. But that is going to be our first book for the week. And I'm very excited to read the books for this week. So let's go. Okay guys, so I am reading I don't know if you can see it on here, The Many Daughters of Afong Moy. And so I actually love I love the color combo, and it is August 2022 was the month that it released. But anyway, so I just finished chapter 2, and it's already like interesting. Like, it's already like captured my attention. The way that the chapters have ended, it's kind of like, I can't believe it. So, but I think that it's because the whole point of the book, the synopsis, is pretty much the story. The present day character isn't even really present day, because her timeline is set in 2045. And so she's starting to have concerns for her 5-year-old daughter because of the fact that Dorothy, our main character, has gone through a lot of different misdiagnoses, mental health conditions, a lot. And they're starting to notice some things in their daughter that are, as she gets older, start to be a little more concerning. And so pretty much I'm just gonna read the synopsis because it's a very interesting synopsis. So, Dorothy Moy breaks her heart for a living. As Washington's former poet laureate, that's how she describes channeling her dissociative episodes and mental health struggles into her art. But when her 5-year-old daughter exhibits similar behavior and begins remembering things from the lives of their ancestors, Dorothy believes the past has truly come to haunt her. Fearing that her child is predestined to endure the same debilitating depression that has marked her own life, Dorothy seeks radical help. Through the experimental treatment designed to mitigate inherited trauma, Dorothy intimately connects with past generations of women in her family. Faye Moy, a nurse in China serving with the Flying Tigers; Zoe Moy, a student in England at a famous school with no rules; La King Moy, a girl quarantined in San Francisco during a plague epidemic; Greta Moy, a tech executive with a unique dating app; and Afong Moy, the first Chinese woman to set foot in America. As painful recollections affect her present life, Dorothy discovers that trauma isn't the only thing she inherited. A stranger is searching for her in each time period, a stranger who's loved her through all of her genetic memories. Dorothy endeavors to break the cycle of pain and abandonment to finally find peace for her daughter and to gain the love that has long been waiting, knowing she may pay the ultimate price. So we have like all of these different timelines, but they are overlapping in the sense that both Dorothy and apparently Arabella is starting to have these dissociative episodes. And Dorothy has already talked about one from an interaction that she had with her husband, and it's very interesting. And of course, at the end of both chapters that I've read so far, there's been a weird connection between everything. Like she said, somebody's looking for her in every timeline. And so our very first chapter is following Faye, who is in 1942, who is our nurse who is a nurse serving with the Flying Tigers. And there was a man that she was helping, and in the possessions, there was a connection to Faye. And so, like, it set Faye on edge. And so then we had a chapter from Dorothy's point of view, and she's observing her daughter. And her daughter draws this picture representing the interaction between the man meeting Faye, and Annabelle, the daughter, even called it like a flying, what was it? A sky tiger or a flying shark, in reference to the Flying Tigers. And when Dorothy asks, Annabelle is like, that's because there was a photo of two people and it was Annabelle and a boy. And Dorothy goes, who's the man riding the sky tiger? Not a man, that's a boy. Boy? Dorothy asked. Annabelle pointed. That's the boy who's looking for me. And so it's kind of like, oh my gosh. I'm so excited. Because she's having this memory or just something's going on in her brain where she's having like her version of the encounter that Faye just had in chapter 1 with the pilot. So I'm very interested to see how it continues. This is very interesting, and I'm already enjoying it 2 chapters in. So let's keep going. Alrighty guys, quick update. I have reached Act 2 and it's interesting. We kind of have like a overview of all of our timelines, of all of our daughters of Moy, and so now Dorothy is getting introduced to this experimental treatment. It was originally used for Alzheimer's, but it was used for like a bunch of other, it kind of grew from there to help with depression, anxieties, debilitating phobias, even PTSDs, according to our doctor character in the book. So Dorothy just did her first round and she is ultimately confused because she had gone into like this different timeline, and all of a sudden she wakes up and she's just like, is that me? And doctor's like, they're all you. And so I'm interested to see how that progresses. If Dorothy is going to end up seeing these other timelines of Moy's before her. And I'm curious to see how Annabelle does just in general, because Annabelle's preschool has some concerns. And so I'm just learning about these other Moys and how they're all going to cohesively line up with each other. So I'm excited. Luckily the chapter numbers keep going. So after the start of Act 2 is chapter 11 and I am on page 109. So I hit the 100-page mark. Let's keep going. So today is Sunday. I have spent the entire morning reading. I made it to part 3 of the Many Daughters of Afong. I'm enjoying it so far. We're learning more about the other women through the generations and kind of like how they're all connecting in regards to family line. And then so now we've reached part 3 where I think, because Dorothy's going through a lot of stuff right now, and so, but it's kind of like it gets worse before it gets better kind of thing with this new treatment that she's doing, and so I'm very interested to see how that continues. But I'm interested to see the fate of Dorothy and Annabelle. And so the lines are slowly coming together. We're really starting to learn about all of the women, which is really cool. And I'm enjoying it so far. Each woman has their own like completely different story, and it's quite interesting. And what I also found cool is that I didn't realize, because the author's photo is in the back, but I didn't even think to look back there until the other day when I started reading it. So Jamie Ford is actually a male Pan-Asian individual whose great-grandfather did mining back in China. And so it's like Jamie Ford is an Americanized name. And so I've been very interested to read it, just because also also expands on the types of authors that I read, which again is very cool. I got to Act 3, and I found that I can listen to The Lost Mother on audiobook through Audible. It's part of the Audible. The Lost Mother is part of the Audible Plus membership, and The Lost Mother is by McGarry Morris, and it's following two kids and their dad in 1920s during the Great Depression, and the mom left to do some work, and so it's just the father and the kids at home, and so we're following their story. And I found it on Audible Plus, so I'm actually listening to it in the car. So I'm currently off to see family for a few hours, and then at some point, either this afternoon or this evening, I will get into part 3. So that's currently where I'm at with my reading for this week. And so far, like I said, the Many Daughters of Afong is going really well, and I'm interested to see what The Lost Mother is like. So, and I packed, so in case for whatever reason I end up like sitting around and reading while I'm with my family, I also have the 5th Doctrine in my backpack, in my purse. So yeah, I'm booked up and ready to go. So yeah, I'm gonna let you guys go so that way I can listen to The Lost Mother, and I will check in with you guys later. Bye. Good evening. Today is Monday, and so I worked this morning, and then I've been on and off reading this afternoon. And before we get too far, yes, I did get a haircut, so I'm very happy with it. Got it all nice and short. I'm very excited. So now that that's out of the way, I've been wanting to cut my hair again, and so I finally did it. Got my trim. And so I finished the Many Daughters of Afong today, and for me, this was a 3-star read. It was good. It kept my attention. I liked the story itself to an extent. I did feel like I had a big old question mark at the end. I did question a lot of there was a chapter towards the end that like I questioned. It's like I wanted to get answers, and I felt like I never really got my questions answered, you know? And so, but at the same time, I liked the premise. I liked the way that it was told for the most part. So overall, not too much to complain about on this one. I enjoyed the multi-generational storytelling, having multiple women in the family. So that was the Many Daughters of Afong. And so now I will set it aside, and then once I finish my books, I will then take the remainder of these to a local little free library, and donate them back. So now that I finished that one, I picked up, next we are doing the 5th Doctrine by Robards, and I've already read the first chapter. It was a great little introduction to the main storyline, and so I'm excited to see where this one goes. I like it. It's like this cute little itty bitty paperback, and so we're gonna get into this. And then I'm still listening to The Lost Mother by McGarry Morris. I'm listening to this on audiobook on my drives, and it's okay. There's something, I don't know if it's just the story or the time, but there's something about it that it's like I'm almost uncomfortable, and I don't know if I like it or not. I understand being uncomfortable because it's a different read and like exploring horizons and stuff, but there's something about this one that I'm not vibing with, you know? And it's like I don't know where it's gonna go. I feel like we're at the point where I'm not even 50% of the way through, but it's like I'm almost scared to see how this is gonna continue. Our main characters right now they're in a bad place. Their living situation just keeps getting worse and worse, and we're at the point now where it's like I'm hoping that there's a light at the end of the tunnel somewhere, because right now I'm not totally liking it right now. But at the same time, on the back, it's got a little sentence here: powerfully imagined and intensely felt, The Lost Mother is a haunting masterwork and Mary McGarry Moore's strongest novel to date. So I want to give it, of course, that was back in, I don't know if she still writes this, the only time I've ever heard of this author. Let's see. Because the copyright date on this is 2005. So it's about 19 years old. I don't know if she still writes anymore, but I don't know. I'm gonna give it another day and we'll see what I end up doing with this one. But for now, we're gonna get back to reading the 5th Doctrine and keep it going. Good morning, all. Today is Wednesday. I know I did not check in yesterday, but that's why I figured I'd come on first thing this morning and give you an update on everything that I read yesterday. And so, first off, I came home from work absolutely exhausted. So the first thing I did was nap. And then I realized as I sat down to read, I only had like 20 minutes, if that, left on The Lost Mother from my drive. So I sat and finished The Lost Mother yesterday. Yeah, no. I gave it a 1 star. So after I had updated you guys on The Lost Mother last, like I was saying that I was scared, it's like, what, I don't know, like, I had no idea what was going to happen, and part of me was like, I'm afraid of what's going to happen to our kids, the kids. And so they ended up getting to their goal, but it was like, it wasn't the happy ending that I was wanting. I don't even think I can call that a happy ending, guys. Okay, I know that not all stories need a happy ending. Personally, I like a good happy ending. I like connecting with my characters with a good happy ending. I finished the book, and like the last chapter-ish was kind of like from Thomas's point of view over the years after all of this had taken place. And I'm just like, I didn't like it. I didn't like it. Like I said, I've read historical fiction before. I read the Kristen Hanna's book, The Four Winds. It takes place in the 1920s, Great Depression, same time frame. I liked it a hell of a lot more. This one, I felt like The Lost Mother was very it was negative all around. Like, I didn't see any positives in the story. And at least the father like came in like to save the day in his own way at the end there, but it wasn't enough for me. It wasn't enough for me. And I don't know if it's just, maybe it was just the times back then that this is actually like was a thing, and whatever the case is, it wasn't my cup of tea. I didn't care for it. I did finish it though. I did get to finish it. I just didn't care for it. So that's that. I am still reading the 5th Doctrine. I didn't get too much into that last night because most of my reading was spent in those 20 minutes finishing up the last Mother, because I got caught up in conversations and then into dinner, and then by the time I got back to reading, it was time for bed. I think I only read like 2, maybe 3 pages of the 5th Doctrine before I got to bed last night, but that's okay. So we're kind of getting like a setup for the 5th Doctrine now. It's like we're meeting our main character, Bianca St. Ives, and right now, because I think I said in the last update that we had like an introductory chapter in regards to like how this whole scenario gets set up, and then but we also now that we're meeting Bianca St. Ives, we're also meeting a second character that she doesn't get along with, that it's like they know each other's weaknesses, and it's like you can tell they even say like there was like a very short snippet of like a sexual tension relationship kind of thing between them. It didn't last very long just because of, I guess, who they are and where they stand in their jobs and stuff. So we're kind of just getting an introduction to the two of them. His name is Colin, I believe, but also like the other thing about the two of them is that they're known for pseudonyms. I don't know if it's part of the job or just them in their lives not wanting to compromise their job, is that they go by pseudonyms. And so Bianca interacts with Colin for the first time. It's like, this is not so-and-so, because they had gone by pseudonyms, and it's like, how does this guy know my real name? And so yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I didn't quite get to finish the chapter, so it's like I'm kind of like in the midst of like these conversations and stuff. So, but hopefully I'll be able to get some more done today. Said I'm working this morning, and then we're gonna hang out. We're just kind of gonna hang out outside of the house today, because I have work and then I have a dinner with coworkers that is by work now, and so it's just going to be easier for me to stay out in that area. So we're going to hang out wherever we can and I've got some editing to do. I'm working on my August TBR. The video is edited, I just got to add some pictures and do the thumbnail and stuff. And then I also got to edit a short of some books I got in, and then so we got that to do. And then we're also going to read the 5th Doctrine. And where we're going to be is that there's a Barnes & Noble that I've never had the chance to go into, and so I'm hoping to kind of take a peek in there while we're down there, and so just to kind of see what they got in regards to books and stuff. And just because it's a different Barnes & Noble, so it's a little different of a Barnes & Noble, and so it's just, I've been wanting to check it out, and so I'm curious to see what their book setup is like, what their stock is like, and just kind of peruse a little bit. And so that is the plan for the day. So then after we hang out, and I'm gonna go, then it's dinner, and then I'll go home and probably be able to read a little more before I go to bed tonight. If not, it's not that big a deal. But that's the plan for today. So let's get the show on the road, get our day started. I've got breakfast and I got coffee. And let's get to our day. Alrighty, guys. I just got out of work. And so I am going to pop into the Barnes & Noble nearby and get some lunch. And in all honesty, I've got a Dunkin' Donuts nearby. I kind of want to do that because I want to. So we're going to go do that. And we're going to check out books, get some food and some coffee, and do some editing. And then we'll read. All right. Alrighty, guys, I came back to my car just because I got uncomfortable sitting in the Dunkin', so we are now going to just chill, sit, read in the car. Now, I went to the Barnes & Noble, ended up being a bust. What I thought was a Barnes & Noble was not, it's not actually a Barnes & Noble. Like, there is a Starbucks cafe, but like the rest of it is like apparel for the local school. So, no books. But that's okay. We're currently reading a book, so it's not like I'm bookless. So at least I have my book that we're currently reading. I was just curious because like I'd seen it around, but I never actually knew what was inside. So now we're just gonna sit and chill and read. Alright, guys. So I spent some time reading. I made a run to Target and look through their book section just because there were some other things I needed to pick up. And so I figured I'd look through the books while I was there. And I'm always afraid, like, a lot of what I want to read from Target are all, like, series. And so I take series with a grain of salt when I find them in stores. It's, like, really hard to, like, only buy, like, one of them. So I'm always afraid to buy full series. Also, I gotta remind myself, I don't have the room anyway. So I came back to my car and I tried reading again. I got like, I feel like I don't have the attention for it right now. And so I feel like I'm kind of getting into a reading slump. And I don't blame myself one bit. I'm reading books that I got from a little free library, and they may or may not have been my first pick of book, but of course, like, if I was to see them in normal stores, I probably wouldn't pick them up anyway. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to play it by ear. I have 2 days left this week for this vlog, so I think I'm going to just take it easy, not push myself to read the book if I don't want to read the book. We'll see how the next 2 days go, because I'm probably not going to read it anymore today. Honestly, after dinner, I'm probably just going to maybe play some Dreamlight Valley, do something else rather than read, just so that I don't want to push myself and like not like reading, you know? So we'll see how it goes. By the end of the week, all of the rest of my books, I think, because after the Fifth Doctrine, there's only one more on the list, which was I think it was Auntie Poldy and the Sicilian Lions that I got. But in all honesty, I'm like I said, I'm kind of getting into a slump on my little library books. And so I figured that this was only going to end up being a two to three episode series. So we'll see how I am at the end of the week. I'm not going to push myself. And then we will start next week with a good plan, and we'll see. So we will see I don't know when I'm going to catch back up with you guys, but I am going to take the rest of this week by ear to see how I feel. I'm still going to keep my book on me and everything. And if I feel like reading, I'll pick it up. If I don't feel like reading, I'll put it down. Like, it is what it is. But, if I don't see you between now and the end of the vlog, I will come on at least one more time to close it out if for whatever reason I don't pick up the book again, and we'll go from there. So sorry this vlog isn't like as involved as the last one was and how some of my other weekly vlogs are. It's just, it happens. Sometimes I get into a book slump, and I think my free little library vlogs are getting me into a slump, but that's okay. So I'll catch up with you guys later. Alrighty guys, hi. Let me take these off so you can see me. Today's Friday, and about midday. I'm taking care of some things this afternoon, but otherwise I've just been chilling. I spent yesterday and I spent my free time today and later playing some Dreamlight Valley, taking my mind off books just for a few days. I hit a reading slump, and that's okay. So I didn't read anymore over the last 2 days, and I am feeling refreshed and excited to go into reading next week. So I did just drop off the rest of my little library books back to a reading I just dropped off my books back to a little free library, the ones that I had taken out. I put in there the Daughters of Afong, the Many Daughters of Afong Moy, the Lost Mother, the Fifth Doctrine, and Auntie Poldy and the Sicilian Lions. I only got about 5-ish chapters into the Fifth Doctrine before I hit my slump, and I had no interest in picking up Auntie Poldy. So all of those went back to a library. Hopefully they will go to nice homes eventually. And I did have such a good time doing this little reading time of books that I find in the little free libraries. Again, if you want to check out me getting the books, I've got that I did that back in November, and I'll link it in the description if you want to go see me fetch the books. And then please watch my other episode. This is episode 2 if you are new. Sorry if you made it this far and didn't realize that I had already read some, but this is episode 2 and the final episode. We ended up only doing 2 episodes, but I am so glad that I took the opportunity and the time to sit down and read these books. It has been a fun time. Yes, it sucks that I went into a reading slump with it, but at the same time, I'm very glad that I finally sat down and read these books. So I encourage you all to look into your free little libraries. There is an app if you are interested in finding little libraries near you, and it's fun to see what you come across. There are some libraries that don't have anything. There are libraries that have many options. It just depends on the library. It really depends. Sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you don't, and that happens. And I had some libraries I got lucky at, and others I didn't. And so, like I said, I had 7 books. I read most of them, and so now they're all off to other little libraries, and hopefully we'll be off to new homes. And so I'm going to let you all go. Have a wonderful day. Drink your water, and be kind. Be kind. And so I will thank you guys so much for tuning into this video, and I will catch you guys next week. Bye.